Falcons in those white uniforms will have Mick Luckhurst kicking off. He is a very accurate kickoff man. He tries to place the ball in the corners inside the 5-yard line if he can. Johnson and Lang are back deep now. Vance Johnson back deep for the Denver Broncos, and here's the ball coming down to Lang. He's going to take it straight ahead. They really like him. Gene Lang, in the second year from LSU, gets out to the 18-yard line. Cut down hard. As we look at the Broncos on offense, John Elway starts at quarterback. They run, of course, the H-back offense. The Bronco fans know James Enright they like a lot. Good blocker. Winder, 1,100-yard rusher a season ago. Butch Johnson and Steve Watson can catch those fireballs that Elway throws, and Clarence Kay is a blaster as a blocker at tight end. Offensive line takes good care of Elway. Don't get a lot of accolades. They haven't had a Pro Bowl lineman at Denver since 1970, but these guys are good. First down and 10 now for the Denver Broncos at their 18. Opening play from scrimmage. Sammy Winder strung out. The linebacking for the Falcons. Bobby Butler, the left corner, was also up to make the play as we look now at the Atlanta Falcons on defense. Great players up front. Rick Bryan, a number 1 out of Oklahoma. Mike Pitts, a number 1 out of Alabama. Benish, a free agent who can play. Mike Gann from Notre Dame, a very substantial. The linebacking corps has hurt some new starters today. Johnny Taylor moves in to play one side. Rady, normally on that side, moves to the other. Curry, the leading tackler in the middle. And there's that secondary that Trump was telling you about. Full of holes. A lot of injured people on the sidelines. Some terrific defensive backs. And Elway's going to take a look at that right now. Dumping the ball out near side to Watson. Running up the field. Steve Watson gets across the 30, and the Falcons have a first. Now the Broncos have a first down. A 14-yard gain for Denver on the play. Tight end moved out to throw a big block. It was really kind of a wide receiver screen.
It's called a slip screen. Elway was absolutely hammered by Pitts. Someone missed Pitts. You see number 60, the guard pulled. That's Howard. He pulled the wrong way. Well, turn that guy loose on your starting quarterback and the franchise. First thing you'll notice about the Atlanta Falcons defense, they run a 4-man front. With this Denver Bronco offense, I would tend to think they'd like to trap a great deal against this 4-man front.
All right, set to go now. Here's the give, and Winder cutting across. Can't get too close as he knocks across the 35-yard line. Yards coming tough up the middle against that very strong defensive front. Actually, Lang carrying the ball there. Gene Lang is knocked down by Dan Benish. Gain on the play of just about 3 yards. It'll be second down and 7. Moving wide to the right now is Watson. Second down and 7 at the Bronco 37-yard line. No score first quarter. Elway, he's as fast a quarterback as there is in pro football. Too much on it, though, for Watson coming back at the ball at the Bobby Butler, a former number 1 out of Florida State. That brings up third in long yardage.
Denver Broncos allowed just 35 sacks last year against John Elway. One of the reasons why is his ability to half roll, sprint out, and avoid the rush. You do it a lot by design, sometimes just improv by John Elway.
John Elway putting a lot of speed now on the right flank. He has the rookie Vance Johnson out there, and Butch Johnson's also out there. Watson comes to the near side as you see 3rd and 7 coming up for Denver.
Blitz.
There's a pitch, and it's going to go for a Bronco first down and a lot more. This is a foot race over early. Vance Johnson, the fastest player maybe in the National Football League, and Clint Sampson out in the far flank. It is Vance Johnson who got the ball and just ran straight ahead as they rolled over the double cover.
63 yards on the reception. He got single coverage on Vance Johnson with all that speed. That's a mismatch. What it was a simple hook pattern by Vance Johnson. You'll see him in the middle of the pattern. He just goes 4 yards. Look at the cushion by the safety, almost 6 yards off. And whenever the receiver is standing still and the tackler is coming forward at full speed, the receiver should be able to make the move to get down the field. 63 yards, and the Denver Broncos on the scoreboard easily.
What a play. They talked about Vance Johnson, Trump, running the 40. I don't know if it's possible inside of 4.3. They claim they got him on a track in that, but whatever it is, it's faster than anybody out there as he just won a foot race to the end zone. And now Carlos hits the point after, and so the Broncos strike fast. They're out in front 7-0.
Have you driven a Ford?
Back at Atlanta, the Broncos made it happen fast. John Elway to super fast rookie Vance Johnson, a 63-yard scoring play on 3rd and long. And the Broncos go out in front on the extra point by Carlos, 7-0. Now Rich Carlos ready to kick it off to the Atlanta Falcons, who are 0-2 coming in and in trouble early on their home field. The deep men now back for the Falcons. Back there is number 39, Cliff Austin. Back with him, Anthony Allen. They've got a lot of speed deep. This is going to be Cliff Austin taking the ball at his 4-yard line. Broncos, with good special teams coverage, come down to make the hit. Ricky Hundley, a very highly regarded young linebacker, made the play. And now the Falcons try to get back in the game with Bartkowski at quarterback.
Once again, you'll see at the top of the screen Wendell Casey, the young man who just reported to the Atlanta Falcons, number 20, being isolated by the Denver Broncos. One thing remains consistent in the NFL, Don. You show no mercy. If you find someone who has not played in the NFL, you're going to pick on it.
Doesn't take long. Lone setback is Riggs as Bartkowski plays fake, nearly a strikeout in the right flank, but then the incomplete pass as he was going to the former Washington Redskin. Coming down with the ball, almost on the play, was Charlie Brown. Bartkowski at quarterback, Benson a big blocker, plays the H-back position. Gerald Riggs had a big season a year ago in the place of the injured William Andrews. Riggs was drafted actually before Marcus Allen of the Raiders the year they both came out. Fralick, the #1 draft choice of the Falcons in the offensive line, is going to be an all-pro, they feel. They're strong up front. They've got a good offensive line with Fralick in there. Last season, they gave up NFL high 67 sacks. Riggs is running now on 2nd down and 10, and he doesn't get much. As the Broncos, Trump, don't give you much unless you're awful quick.
Well, I'll tell you what, too. You look at this defense of the Denver Broncos. The performance of the offense in John Elway probably overshadowed another great performance by the Denver defense last year.
The front three for the Broncos you just saw. There's the linebacking core. Doesn't get a lot of praise, but they're very sound. The whole defensive unit is. Give up a lot of yards. Gave up among the most in the National Football League last year, but they gave up the 2nd fewest points to the Denver defense. Now, it is 3rd down and 7 for the Falcons, who trail in the first quarter 7-0. Bartkowski throws, has a man, but the Broncos zone defense comes up to pop him. Very little gain on the play, and they'll have to punt the ball. As White Shoes Johnson came up and was nailed.
People in Fulton County Stadium rather quiet, Don. These Falcons have lost 11 of their last 12 football games. Probably most of it because of injury last year to the offense. Losing Bartkowski, losing William Andrews and Billy White Shoes Johnson. And this year the defense is beat up after just 2 weeks of the season.
Now dropping back to punt for the Atlanta Falcons is Rick Donnelly, averaging under 42 yards a punt so far. Hits the ball nicely downfield. Will Height is going over for Denver. They let it hop, and the Broncos will get good field position to start their second drive at their 39-yard line. A 35-yard punt. And out comes Elway, and the Denver offense, as Coach Reeves threw that one up on the playboard, and they worked it perfect the last time they had the ball.
We improved the new.
The Broncos are back, ready to go. 1st and 10 from their 40-yard line. Elway looking for more. Denver leads 7-0. This is Sammy Winder with blockers in front. Sammy Winder's ahead for a gain of 6 yards out to the 46-yard line. Scores starting to come in from around the league now. Benish was on the tackle. Dallas with a field goal up on the Browns, 3-0 at Texas Stadium. Cleveland coming off that big win over Pittsburgh last Monday night, and Dallas smarting. After a rout of Washington in the opening game, they went to Detroit last Sunday and were upset. So right now, the Denver Broncos on a 63-yard scoring pass play from John Elway to rookie Vance Johnson are leading 7-0 here at Atlanta. And Elway in the offense going again for Denver. Sammy Winder gets room to run, and he's across midfield. He's down to the 48-yard line. He has a 1st down for the Broncos, as right now, Trump, this Atlanta defense looks at best demoralized.
Well, once again, with the Atlanta Falcons defense running that 4-man front, it's one of the few left. They'll run sweeps and traps all day long. There's the Bishop, 54, pulling out in front of Sammy Winder, and the 4-man front has kind of been taken apart by an awful lot of offenses, especially these H-back offenses.
Elway has hit 2 of 3 throws so far for 76 yards and the touchdown to Vance Johnson. Now 1st and 10 again. Here's Elway taking a look deep. There's that strike down the far sideline, but it's off the hand of Steve Watson. Elway with a rocket launcher of a right arm.
You got that right. That was thrown high. And I think if John has a problem, it's that at times he overthrows the ball and it results in going high. He is such a strong arm that when he sits back there in the pocket and goes through the fundamentals, sometimes he just puts too much steam on the football. But that's part of just playing every down in every game. And in 2 or 3 years, he won't do that anymore.
One of the things he's doing, Trump, is spreading the ball around a lot more. Last week in his 28 completions against New Orleans, 17 went to backs and tight ends.
That's a big plus.
Normally he liked to go deep early in his career. That great arm. Now Elway again dropping on 2nd and 10. He gets it off. It's incomplete. Too much on it for Sammy Winder coming out of the backfield.
So far, each time John Elway's thrown the ball, with the exception of the touchdown pass to Vance Johnson, he's done that. Dusted the seat of his pants.
Got a good rush going there. Did Atlanta Falcons, putting some pressure on Elway, taking quick drops. Now let's see what he goes to on 3rd down and 10. Ball positioned at the 48-yard line of Atlanta. We're in the 1st quarter, and the Broncos are in the lead 7-0. Butch Johnson's in the game now. Watson comes to the near side. Sampson is also in the game. 4 wideouts in the game as Elway drops back. Long ball. Intercepted. It's picked off. Scott Case, the defensive back from Oklahoma, makes a big play for the Falcons and now has some room to run. As Case is still on his feet down at the 44-yard line of the Broncos. The drop, that makeshift secondary of the Atlanta Falcons, delivers a big play. Scott Case, with his 2nd interception of the year, ran it back 32 yards for the Falcons. Now they have good field position.
And Don, that ball should not have been thrown. From behind the shotgun, you see a full drop out by the Atlanta Falcons defense. Now that's trying too hard to get the ball in there. That's part of the learning experience of a young quarterback, John Elway, with his ability. And as quickly as he can throw the ball, a lot of times you feel, I don't care who they put out there, what the coverage is, I can get it in. Sometimes you just have to eat the ball, go back to the huddle, and try the next play.
Now here they go from scrimmage. Bartkowski somehow got the handoff to his fullback, but there's little or no gain on the play. As a very quick defensive front, keyed by Barney Chavis, 79, made the hit on Gerald Riggs. At almost 1,500 yards rushing the ball did Riggs in 84. Dan Henning, now in his 3rd season as coach of the Falcons, has to be under the gun. This is the final year of his contract. You see the record. Henning says every coach is in the 1st and last year of his contract. Doesn't matter what's on paper. You can go any time. Here come the Falcons now, 2nd down and 9. Bartkowski's going to be swept under at midfield. This tremendous thrust from the Denver front. Again, Barney Chavis was through. That's the 11th time this season that Bartkowski's been sacked. It's the 12th time an Atlanta quarterback has gone down.
One of the things you'll watch the Denver Broncos defense do from behind Reuben Carter, the noseman, they run games up front. Rulon Jones comes inside, and it's just the push of the defensive line. They just crowd up the middle. Bartkowski's got no place to go but to the dirt.
Bartkowski lacking mobility, and the Falcons are really hard-pressed to keep away that Denver pass rush. Now on 3rd and 16, Bartkowski running as best he can. A home run ball going for to Stacey Bailey, and he's got the ball at the 5-yard line. But they rule him out of bounds. He went up on the Broncos free safety Steve Foley, and Stacey Bailey came down with the ball, but it was ruled he did not have his foot in bounds when it came.
That was a sensational reception. When Bartkowski first threw this ball, I thought he was just throwing it away. Louis Wright with the bump and run stays with him. Last year, Louis Wright just 1 touchdown thrown over him. Bartkowski that time does a good job just moving out of the pocket. And I think the receiver had already gone out of bounds. And therefore, he was an ineligible receiver. It wouldn't have counted even if he'd come back in bounds and caught it.
Stacey Bailey played for John Elway's father at San Jose State last season. Bailey caught 67 balls for Atlanta, but now the Falcons must punt it. The ball is hit downfield by Rick Donnelly. Will Hite lets it hop, and it goes in for a touchback. So the Denver Broncos will have the ball for a 3rd time in the 1st quarter after that 49-yard punt, but 20 yards comes off on the touchback. The Broncos in the lead 7-0 when we come back to Atlanta, Georgia.
no passing fancy, as opposing quarterbacks have discovered.
The NFL plays here, New England.
Can the Patriot line slow down the Raider rush so Champagne Tony Eason can uncork his winning magic?
The Raiders battle the Patriots. The action starts with NFL 85.
Dan Reeves this week had his contract at Denver extended another 4 years as his Broncos are a-rolling, both in the recent seasons and today, as they're out in front 7-0 in the first quarter and have the ball again as Elway gives off on a draw and runs straight up the middle by Sammy Winder is going to be good for a gain of about 3 or 4 yards.
On a note from the Denver bench, Keith Bishop, starting guard, is out with a sprained knee. Winfred Hood will take his place as Pittsburgh goes on top of Houston 7-0.
Giants have jumped out in front of the St. Louis Cardinals at Giant Stadium, in Philadelphia out in front of heavily favored Washington. San Diego leading the Bengals, your old team, Trump, starting off poorly this year.
Yeah, they're 0-2, need a win.
Now 2nd down and 6 for Denver. First quarter, and the Broncos are in the lead on a 63-yard touchdown pass play. Elway rockets another ball again. He's intercepted on a tip ball. John Rady picked it off for Atlanta, and he's running down the far sideline and might go in. He does. Touchdown, Falcons. .47-yard return.
And the Broncos have preferred to go to that side, trying desperately to get the ball to Steve Watson. For the 3rd time, John Elway threw the ball a little too high. The ball is tipped by Steve Watson. And Rady, right place in the right time. Watch him. Look at this. He just throws it a little too hard. It's high. Once it's tipped up in the air, Rady picks it up, and then the defense turns offense. They come up with some good blocks here. One thing I notice about John Elway, he stays clear of any contact. Probably very smart. 47 yards, and the Falcons are on the board.
John Rady, a 3rd-year linebacker from Boise State in Idaho. And so the extra point by Luckhurst is up and good, and all of a sudden it's a 7-7 game as we go to New York.
Now with Castro, the motor oil.
It's high noon whenever Dan Marino comes to town as one of the deadliest right arms in the league heads west.
The NFL plays here, Denver.
For John Elway, it's an historic first showdown as Elway duels Marino in this Rocky Mountain shootout.
The Dolphins battle the Broncos. The action starts with NFL 85.
John Rady of the Atlanta Falcons just turned in a spectacular play to tie the game. Rady intercepting a tip ball on an Elway throw and running it back 38 yards for a touchdown. The extra point is good, and now Luckhurst kicks off. Gene Lang takes it 15, and Gene Lang moves out to the 24-yard line. So Elway with some pyrotechnics early in the game, including a 63-yard pass play to Vance Johnson on Broncos' first possession, but since then, Trump, 2 interceptions.
You're right. That's his 3rd and 4th interceptions of this season. And I think one of the things that Dan Reeves would like John Elway at times to do is just take the ball down, not throw it out there. With the strength of his arm, he tries to force the ball quite a bit. You see, there's good coverage. Ball thrown high. Once tipped, it's anybody's ball game. And the result, a 38-yard interception return for a touchdown. Falcons on the board.
Sammy Winder and Gene Lang are the runners behind John Elway. And left early, and the left flank, as you saw, as the ball is given straight ahead. Winder running it out to maybe the 28-yard line, but that play should come back. It might be 1st down and 5 for Denver. Falcons have been a team that has misfired as the games progress. They've led at the half in both their opening games, but have been outscored 49-12 in the second half to lose to Detroit.
Offside, number 77 on the defense, still 1st down.
Rick Bryan called for the offside. The Falcons outscored 49-12 in the second half against Detroit, and last week against San Francisco collectively, and they're now 0-2.
This is also a very heavily penalized team. That was their 18th penalty now in just 2 games plus a quarter.
Again, Gene Lang and Winder set up win backs behind John Elway. Timing pattern near flank, and Butch Johnson comes down with the ball. It is a Denver 1st down out to the 39-yard line of the Broncos. Wendell Cason, that rookie corner, was watching, what was he, out in Long Beach, California, watching television last Sunday.
And now he's playing in it. Elway once again on his back, and he's thrown the ball high today. It may be from the pressure of the Falcons' defensive line. Bishop out, Winfred Hood in. with that injury to Bishop's knee might have some effect on it, but they need to protect it better than they have so far.
Keith Bishop with a knee sprain, and we're told he'll not play again today. So now the Broncos get 4 new downs out to their 38-yard line. Gene Lang, he's got speed and power, and youngin back from LSU takes it down to the 46-yard line of the Falcons, where Pridemore, the free safety, got him down. 15-yard gain by Gene Lang.
That'll slow down that pass rush. Once again, you see the trap, and it's executed perfectly. Winfred Hood on the pull. He comes right up through the middle. No, I beg your pardon. That's not Winfred Hood. You've got Glenn Hyde, I believe, now playing at guard for Bishop. But that trap is going to work all day against that 4-man front.
So it's another first down now for Denver in this game that is tied 7-7 in the first quarter. Watson coming in motion. Winder, as a penalty marker goes down, so does Sammy as he got down to the 45-yard line for a gain of only a yard. Mike Pitts, who the Denver coaches rate as the best defensive lineman on the Falcon team. He's a former #1 out of Alabama. Shed the blocker and made the hit. And the signal against the Broncos.
Last week, the Broncos were penalized heavily, too. Maybe a little...
Offsides. Number 88 on the offense. That penalty is declined. It'll be second down.
They spot the ball. There was virtually no gain. Clarence Kay. There's Keith Bishop, an outstanding offensive guard, sidelined with a knee strain. Glenn Hyde on instead, another veteran offensive lineman for the Denver Broncos. Ball position right now at the 46-yard line of Atlanta. Game is tied in the first quarter, 7-7. Second down and 10 coming up. Elway loses it, gets out of quick around. John Elway takes off, and he's going to get a first down, or is he, where he slides down the position of the ball at about the 36, and it might be close enough to measure.
Not just great athletic ability by John Elway. Some quarterbacks come into the NFL, start playing with a presence on the field. They can feel the pressure. And there you see people all around him. He just makes the right move. Normally he will spin out to the right there. And look at the stride on that kid. Oh, it's just scratching the surface of his ability, too.
Unlimited.
Just beginning to see what kind of a quarterback John Elway might be.
Probably the fastest quarterback in pro football to go along with his strong right arm. But today, he's thrown 2 interceptions. John Elway actually last season led the American Conference quarterbacks, as you see, in rushing. Now, with 3rd and 1 coming up, the Broncos want a timeout. So John Elway goes to the sideline to get some counsel. We remind you that next Saturday, NBC Sports continues its coverage of the 1985 baseball season. Some of you will see the Mets take on the Pittsburgh Pirates, while others will watch the St. Louis Cardinals go against the Montreal Expos. Coverage begins at 3 o'clock Eastern Time with Major League Baseball, an inside look. The tradition is here. The memories are waiting on a network of the 1985 League Championship Series. Mets and the Cardinals contending for the pennant in the National League East. Scores coming in from around the NFL in the first quarter. The Giants and the Cardinals are now tied up 7-all. Neil Lomax has thrown to Roy Green for 39 yards and a Cardinal touchdown. Tony Franklin kicked a field goal to put New England up on Buffalo 3-0 in the first quarter. And New Orleans winless in 2 times out. So is Tampa Bay. Saints lead the Buccaneers 7-0. In that game, Dave Wilson threw to Larry Hardy for a touchdown for New Orleans. Three minutes and 36 seconds to play in the first quarter here at Atlanta with John Elway directing the Bronco offense. The game is tied 7-7. If you joined us late, Elway hit Vance Johnson, that super fast rookie for the Broncos, on a 63-yard scoring play. Then John Rady, a linebacker for Atlanta, intercepted Elway and ran it back 38 yards for a touchdown. Elway tries to go over the top. I don't know if he got there. On 3rd and 1.
They didn't need much, and they're not going to put the ball where he reached out with his arm. It has to be in the framework of the body. Watch the trenches, as they say in the NFL. Elway just trying to make a little leap over there, a la Walter Payton. I think he probably got the first down. It's going to be close, but go to your power back.
Last time these two teams played was in the final preseason game of 1984, over a year ago, and the Falcons were beaten rather handily by Denver that night, 24-13.
I'm kind of surprised the Denver Broncos would take a timeout in this crucial third down and short situation and come back with the quarterback sneak. You would think that they'd try something a little more spectacular. First down Denver, it worked, so good timeout taken. Elway now 4 of 9, 91 yards, a touchdown and 2 interceptions.
One run back for a touchdown. It is a beautiful day in Atlanta, clear and sunny, as Dan Reeves now gives the officials some advice. The ball is positioned at the 36-yard line.
He's a vice president now. Vice president and head coach, so you can try to give advice to officials.
Coach Reeves really coming out as a coach. The Landry assistants moving to the pros are. Just as Chicago as Elway takes a look, locks the ball down. He was going for Butch Johnson down at the 20-yard line. Again, Elway comes in high. That's been a problem for him today. That arm's been too strong.
He's mad at himself, too. He's not made some very good choices so far in this first quarter. You can see the zone deploy. That's a double rotation zone. Corners up, safeties out. And this was a late pass to Butch Johnson down the middle, which is what you don't want a quarterback to do. He's not read the defense particularly well so far.
You can tell this game isn't being played at Denver's Mile High very quickly, where it sold out every game 110 straight times and very loud. A sparse gathering for the Falcons and not very emotional, this crowd in Atlanta. 2nd and 10. Elway with that deep drop. They give him time, and again he's almost picked off. Wendell Kaysen, that rookie cornerback, went high for the ball. The intended receiver was Watson downfield.
Sammy Winder was also there too. Now, if the ball was intended for Winder, it was terribly overthrown. If it was intended for Watson, it was underthrown. Let's see what he's doing here. It doesn't look like he's doing anything out of the ordinary for John Elway, but watch the reaction. He knows as soon as he throws it, what's going on here? What's wrong? Almost another interception, his third.
Broncos, though, with a lot of yards here in the first quarter, 131 total net yards. Atlanta has just 13. Elway again against a big rush, puts it downfield, and a nice defensive play. Wendell Kaysen, the guy they're going after all day long, keeps coming up with plays from.
That was an excellent reaction play. That ball floated. Elway had players in his face, so he couldn't really put the steam on it. Watch from the outside. The pressure by the Atlanta Falcons. 65 all over. That's pillars. He couldn't really put his foot down. It seems to hang up there forever. Kaysen just puts his hand in and knocks it away. 4th down, Denver.
So the Broncos drive down the field. They continue to try the rookie cornerback. Called off the waiver wire, called on to start, and so far making plays for Atlanta. 4th down and 10. And ready to punt the ball for the first time in the game is Chris Norman of the Broncos. Game clock shows 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. It's tied 7-7. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy at Atlanta Stadium. 3rd straight NFC opponent for the Denver Broncos as they open the '85 season.
He'll take a delay of game here, move back 5 yards and punt. It shouldn't affect Chris Norman at all. I think if I were Dan Reeves, I'd try to run Elway on some rollouts here, just to see if it couldn't get his throwing rhythm back in sync. He has not thrown the ball particularly well in this first quarter, overthrowing everybody. And maybe if you run him around a little bit, kind of tire him out a little bit, then he'll throw the ball a little more accurately.
Good point, because that Atlanta rush is really pinched on the pocket, too. The times that Elway did sprint out, he was all alone. Now Norman ready to punt it, and one of the premier punt returners for a long time, Billy White Shoes Johnson, ready to return it for Atlanta, but Norman's going to pump it right. No, it's almost down inside the 5. It does go in for a touchback, and so the Falcons will get the ball 1st and 10 at their 20. Now, while we have a moment, let's go to Bob Costas in New York.
Okay, Don, early second quarter in Dallas where the temperature is in the 90s. Danny White, an 11-yard throw to Doug Cosby. It gives the Cowboys a 10-0 lead over Cleveland. And hey, Criqui and Trumpy, enjoy that long plane ride tonight to Seattle.
Easy money.
He makes me carry his bags. Other than that, traveling with Don Criqui is all right.
We're off to Seattle for the Rams-Seattle game tomorrow night on NBC Radio. But right now, we have the Denver Broncos on defense. The Falcons go to the run. Free football, and it looks like the Falcons got it back. Bartkowski might have fallen on it. But it's way back inside the 15-yard line. Riggs bobbled the handoff.
Don, the plays made by Louis Wright 20. Watch what happens. When the player comes in motion, Louis Wright comes across in support, which is absolutely perfect. Riggs never got his hand on the ball because he was watching Louis Wright. And the Atlanta Falcons lucky to get that one back.
Good to see Louis back in good health for the Broncos. He strained a knee in a preseason game. Played a lot last week and now said to be at 100%. Difficult down now for the highly immobile quarterback for the Falcons, Bartkowski. Second down and 19. Nice throw to White Shoes Johnson, who takes on a linebacker and gets out to the 24, still way short of a first down, but it will bring up third down and about 6. Woodard knocked him down, outside linebacker for Denver.
Nice idea by the Atlanta Falcons. They had like 3 levels of receivers, and Billy Johnson was the shortest level, just throwing underneath the linebackers, and with White Shoes' foot speed. Look at that. That's domination for a high score, isn't it?
Yep, but they're even on the scoreboard. 7-7 is the count. Broncos scoring on their first possession on a 63-yard touchdown pass play. Elway to Vance Johnson. Denver coming out a few possessions later on an interception returned by linebacker John Rady. And now Bartkowski somehow limply moves the ball out of that rush.
Well, he got lucky there. That could have been and should have been intentional grounding. It makes no difference if there is a receiver in the area. Watch Bartkowski. He's going to go back and fake one side, then try to come back to the other side. And at that point, he's got people all over his feet. He threw it to get rid of it, and that is intentional grounding, whether a receiver is there or not.
So the Falcons shoot blanks on 3 straight downs, and now they have to punt the ball. Gerald Wilhite back deep now for the Broncos, and Denver could come out of this with very good field position in this game that's tied 7-all. Wilhite standing at his 35. Good hit downfield. It drives Wilhite back to his 29, and here he goes. Good special teams coverage. He's out to the 39 of Denver, and that's where the Broncos will go on offense. First and 10, a 46-yard punt, a 9-yard return. Let's check the scoreboard now as the scores come in from around the NFL. Pittsburgh moving out to a 14-0 advantage over the Houston Oilers. Art Malone, actually Mark Malone, this man tuned in, has thrown for 2 touchdowns, and both to Lewis Lips. Cardinals and the Giants are tied 7-7. And Owen Gill, a young running back from Iowa, has run for a touchdown. Indianapolis leads Detroit 7-0. Cincinnati now going in front of San Diego 7-3. First down and 10 for Denver. Away, here's your Trump, goes to the pitch out. Gene Lang running wide. They really like Gene Lang. He had a costly fumble in that opener against the Rams at Anaheim when the Broncos were leading the 4th quarter. New England continues to lead Buffalo 3-0. New Orleans still up 7-0 on the Wilson touchdown pass over Tampa Bay. Owen Gill, a running back from Iowa, picked up as a free agent. He was drafted number 2 by Seattle and cut, but today he's run well for the Colts as they're looking for their first win.
Don, that last play by the Denver Broncos was the Texas wishbone, the quarterback option, and the pitch to Lang.
And it's good for a gain of 6 yards for the Bronx, so now they'll go second down and 4. Elway, play fake, and here comes the rush, swings it out nicely.
Idea.
Lang is ahead across midfield, and he's up for a first down for the Denver Broncos. Linebacker Al Richardson knocked him down.
Excellent idea by the Denver Broncos. John Elway is the future of this franchise, and on any given day, he's the one that the team lives and dies with. Dan Reeves comes with a simple little rollout pass, throws a very short receiver out there in the flat. Elway gets a completion, and then you can build him up throughout the rest of the first half. But this is an excellent start now. I like the idea by Dan Reeves.
Dan Reeves showing the whole playbook to the Atlanta defense as the game clock is down inside a minute to play in the first quarter. Score tied as Gene Lang runs hard again on first down, and he's close to the 45-yard line of Atlanta. And while they unpile, let's go back to NFL 85. Bob?
Okay, Don, a week ago, officials' mistakes cost the Oilers 2 touchdowns. It almost happened to the Bengals today. Collinsworth obviously is bumped over the line, and the official at first makes a terrible call. He says no TD. But then Gene Barth's crew conferred, and after a long discussion, they reversed it. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
So the Bengals get on the board, and they need it badly. And right here in Atlanta, Georgia, the Broncos are tied with Atlanta 7-7 with time running out in the first quarter. Elway eludes the rush, and there he goes. John Elway's got a first down and plenty more as he heads for the 12th man and bails out at the sideline. Say he runs the 40 in 4.6.
Tom Pridemore finally got him out of bounds. He's a factor with the ball under his arm. Still young enough. Hasn't had his bell rung enough to be afraid to run the ball.
And that concludes play in the first quarter with the score tied 7-7. Denver has a first down when we come back. Back at Atlanta, report on a big game in the NFC East. The Giants and the Cardinals meeting in New Jersey. Jeff Atkinson, newly acquired place kicker, just hit a 20-yard field goal for the Giants to give them a 10-7 lead over the Cardinals. If the Giants win, they would share first place with St. Louis. Cards come in with a 2-0 record. Here in Atlanta, the Broncos scored their first possession, a spectacular play. John Elway hit the super fast Vance Johnson, the rookie sprinter from Arizona. It covered 63 yards and a touchdown. Then the Falcons came up with a big defensive play. Linebacker John Rady intercepting John Elway on a tip ball and running it back 38 yards for the tying touchdown. On 1st and 10, Elway takes a look after his run. Now he's going to go again, but not very far. In fact, he might lose a yard or two on the play. Lawrence Pillars and Roy Harris ran him down, a couple of veteran defensive linemen.
Once again, the linebackers of the Atlanta Falcons dropping so deep that John Elway could have run for an easy first down. From behind the defense, he's looking right all the way. Sees that man covered, looks back to the left, which is what you like to see in a young quarterback. But at this point, he could have and should have run.
Well, I think he tried at the last moment, but there was nothing there.
Well, sometimes a young quarterback realizes he's going to do his team more good by throwing it than running it. And in that case, it was a bad choice by John Elway.
Now 2nd and 7 for Elway. The long-range arm firing down again. He is almost picked off Bobby Butler, one of the cornerbacks, stepping in front of Steve Watson. So Elway has been on target some of the time, but most of his passes have been errant.
Well, that time the ball was thrown low. Look at the domination by the Denver Broncos. Statistically, the score is 7-7 with those lopsided numbers. An intercepted pass went back for a touchdown by linebacker Rady. And the Denver Broncos are not. Elway now 5 of 12, 98 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions, 2 of 4 on third down conversions to this point in the ball game.
Third down now, 3rd and long for the Broncos from the shotgun. Elway standing back. Here's a loop pass out. Vance Johnson, who scored the touchdown, sprints ahead and very close to a first down. 3rd and over 11. It looked like he got enough, but we'll have to see where they mark the ball. He had to get it inside the 19, almost to the 18-yard line. That appears to be right where he is. So when they bring out the chains, Trump, it's going to be by the nose of the ball if he's got it.
Yeah, very close. He did a good job, Vance Johnson, of breaking that one tackle out there. Atlanta Falcons are dropping an awful lot of guys back in total zone coverage. At that time, they blitzed 6 guys, had 5 guys back in coverage. From the shotgun, you'll see him coming from just about everywhere. Bryan, Pillars. It's a quick outlet pass. Vance Johnson, the hot receiver, he avoids that tackler right there with a great job. That's going to be very close to a first down.
He knows what to do when he gets the ball. Vance Johnson was a running back at Arizona, particularly effective coming out of the backfield. So you'll see now 4th down and the power formation comes out. Gene Lang comes out with Sammy Winder as we again check the scoreboard around the NFL. Philadelphia leading on 2 Paul McFadden field goals over the heavily favored Washington Redskins at Washington. San Diego now up 10-7 over Cincinnati. Dan Fouts has just thrown to Eric Sievers for a Charger touchdown. And New Orleans is holding to a 7-3 lead over Tampa Bay. Now the crowd starts up, showing some emotion here at Atlanta Stadium. 4th and less than a yard for the Broncos. It's Jim Wright trying to confuse the defense. Now it goes in motion again. Elway finally gives the snap, and here is the handoff. Straight ahead is the carry, and the Broncos at least think they've got it.
I believe they do too. No, it's not a bad idea by the Denver Broncos to keep running that guy in motion, because you might draw the defense off sides. Wright goes once, comes back to the formation. You see inside defensive lineman jumping there a little bit. He goes again, trying to draw them on an offsides, and then finally, all right, you're not going to jump offsides? Okay, well, let's run a lead blocking play. Give it to Sammy Winder, and he picks up the first down.
Winder down to the 17-yard line.
Look at that.
Yep, but the scoreboard is even at 7-7 early in the second quarter. Elway, great play fake into the end zone. Touchdown. Coming up with the ball is Clint Sampson. Third-year wide receiver from San Diego State in the game and left uncovered, and Elway with a perfect throw. 17 yards and a second touchdown for Denver.
Sampson is the inside receiver, and you see the defensive back allow him inside the middle of the zone, wide open. No coverage whatsoever. A good play-action fake. Held the weak safety just long enough for Sampson to get by him. That's from behind the defense now. There's that play-action fake. It holds 50 Buddy Curry there. Sampson wide open in the end zone. Now 13-7 Denver.
And Rich Carlos looking to put up the 14th point for the Broncos, which he does with 12:56 to play in the first half. And so the Broncos strike on a second John Elway throw and take a 14-7 lead.
Today's game is brought to you by National Car Rental. When you rent a car for business or pleasure, you deserve national attention. By Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. And by Owens Corning. Our building products put your house in the pink.
And Denver ready to kick it off. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy at Atlanta Stadium, where the Broncos lead in the second quarter 14-7. The spinner taken downfield. Cliff Austin running it back. Has some room. Then he runs into Woodard of the Broncos and is thrown back from the 25. Forward progress to the 25, and so it'll be 1st and 10 now as the Atlanta Falcons look for a big play on offense. They've had none so far, but they've had big ones on defense. 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown.
Big play there was that 4th down conversion. Kept the drive alive. One of the signs of a good team is on a day when you're not playing particularly well, you're still able to put the ball in the end zone. In the first half, that's been the case for the Denver Broncos.
Their offense, Trump has had it 3 times. 3 punts for the Falcons so far. High back, coming upfield is Riggs, a strong runner, and he's out to the 27 for a gain of 2. Now while we have a moment, back to NFL 85 and Bob Costas.
Well, at home, a couple of first-quarter touchdown passes from Mark Malone to Lewis Lips. Malone has 8 TD throws for the year, 5 of them caught by Lips. And as they go to the second quarter, it's 14-0 Pittsburgh. Back to Criqui and Trumpy.
Thank you, Bob. Here now in this season, John Elway of the Broncos has 7 touchdown throws. Make that 8. He's got 2 today. Now running up the ball is Gerald Riggs on 2nd down and 18. He's out to the 30-yard line. He'll still be way short of a 1st down. Woodard, a real comer at outside linebacker, playing for the injured Tom Jackson, makes another stop. Woodard's had a big first half for the Broncos.
One thing about this Denver Bronco defense, though, historically under Joe Collier, a very difficult defense to run on. No matter how much press the offense gets in Denver, the defense is the one that in the game films and when it comes to game balls gets most of the credit, and it's much deserved.
And this defense under Collier, Trump, is expert at tackling the ball. Last season, the Broncos had a +21 in that giveaway takeaway. One of the best in the NFL. Here's Bartkowski throwing the ball. Going for it. The near side is Super Joe Washington. They really caught the ball for an Atlanta 1st down. Joe Washington, who came in the summer from the Washington Redskins, goes up and comes down with the ball.
Good pass protection by the Falcons offensive line. Just a short little out. Bartkowski, a very accurate passer. Washington, excellent hands. And the Falcons now have their first down of the ball game.
Ground level look.
Mecklenburg, 77, the designated sacker for the Denver Broncos, going up against Mike Ken, 78 of the Atlanta Falcons. That's a great matchup. That time, Ken won.
He won that one, and Ken's an all-pro player. And now a straight-ahead give, and Riggs takes the ball on 1st and 10. Good power and good blocking from the front. Jeff Van Note, a 17-year veteran at center, blocking hard. And the gain on the play is about 8 yards. Philadelphia now with a 6-3 lead over Washington as Mosley kicked the field goal for the Redskins. Ferragamo threw 16 yards to running back Greg Bell for a Buffalo touchdown, and the Bills lead New England 7-3. Jeff Van Note is the second oldest player, the Atlanta center in the National Football League. Only Minnesota's kicker Jan Stenerud is older. Bartkowski stands in. Man is open. A great play by the Falcons. Coming out with the ball was the ex-Redskin Charlie Brown. He took cornerback Steve Wilson deep and then went back at the ball. He was leveled but held on.
Brown, an excellent receiver, not a very big guy, but has no fear of going to the inside. 15 yards on the catch. Running at a very tough part of the field, too, right there on the skinned infield where the Atlanta Braves play baseball. But he goes up after it. That's a good hit by Wilson and Busick. Charlie Brown up and all right to the sideline. First down.
Falcons showing here, Trump, their best offense of the half now. They've played good first half for the most part this season. We're up 10-0 at San Francisco a week ago and fell apart. Running hard on first down is Gerald Riggs, coming off the left side with All-Pro Mike Ken and Big John Scully blocking. Jim Ryan, outside linebacker for the Broncos, made the knockdown, but there's a gain on the first down, Gary, of over 6 yards.
Excellent ball carrier, this Gerald Riggs. When William Andrews went down last year for the Atlanta Falcons, everyone said, oh no, what are we going to do? Riggs comes in and in his first start runs for over 200 yards. And they suddenly had found the running back they thought they didn't have. Today, 7 carries, 11 yards.
That's 7 of them in the last carry. Bartkowski takes a look. He can go long, and he does. Down the field. It's just over the outstretched hands of one of his I-backs, Cliff Benson. H-back, I-back, different names, but they're the same thing. They're all tight ends. The H-backs in size, anyway.
It's interesting that both of these teams are facing offenses that each runs. Joe Gibbs is Danny Reeves' best friend, and they run the 2 tight end, kind of the H-back or the I-back set. Action up front, good play action fake. And the Atlanta Falcons are big guys who are excellent pass protectors. It's the immobility of Steve Bartkowski that generally leads to the sack, not the breakdown of the offensive line.
Benson, the antenna receiver, doesn't get it thrown to him often. When he does, he appreciates it. He's a pancake blocker, though, they say. Here's a throw out in the flat. White Shoes Johnson is across the 35-yard line. He has a first down for Atlanta. Down to the 32-yard line of Denver. Mike Harden knocked him down, so the Falcons drive on, get 4 new downs.
Using great speed and quickness of Billy White Shoes Johnson. Pass thrown about 5 yards deep. Johnson turns it into a first down. Harden on the tackle. Ball pops loose, but Falcons are driving. You said this is their best offense of the first half. This is their only offense of the first half.
All right. 3 receptions now for White Shoes for 23 yards. Third first down for the Falcons, all coming via the throw, and Bartkowski's going to go to the run now. Riggs, a slashing runner, takes it down close to the 27-yard line on a first down carry, got close to 5. New Orleans winless so far. So is Tampa Bay. The Saints extending their lead to 14-3 as Dave Wilson is thrown for his second Saints touchdown.
Louis Wright again on the tackle there for the Denver Broncos. If there's a better support corner in the NFL, I'd like to hear someone nominated. Louis back on those deep passes and up at the line of scrimmage to make a lot of tackles for the Bronco defense.
Louis has been doing it for a long time, too. Louis Wright now in his 11th year. Right up the middle with another power run is the fullback Gerald Riggs, who takes it down to the 16-yard line, an 11-yard gain on the play. It is another first down for Atlanta.
Steve Foley on the tackle, the safety. You'll see him at the top of the screen. I don't know what woke Atlanta up. But boy, they certainly are running with authority now. This is an excellent offensive drive, started at their own 25-yard line.
Riggs coming out, as you pointed out, Trump, for the injured William Andrews and rushed for almost 1,500 yards a season ago. But he came out of Arizona State rated as a great runner as he has the ball again. Breaking tackles now. Gerald Riggs is knocked down for a loss of a yard. Gerald Riggs, as we pointed out earlier, was selected in the NFL draft year. He came out ahead of Marcus Allen in the first round.
And they didn't know if he was ever going to play for the Atlanta Falcons. Had there not been an injury to William Andrews, he may have been the best kept secret in the NFL. Now everyone knows of the talent of this young man. 230 pounds, the build of a fullback, the moves, and the slipperiness of a running back.
This is the longest drive of the game for either team, as the Falcons trailing 14-7 with the clock running and 7:28 to play in the first half. Now break the huddle. They send Charlie Brown out wide to the right. Near flank is Stacey Bailey. He's dangerous, and they're double covering him. They go back to Gerald Riggs. And there is tremendous surge from the left side of that Falcon offensive line. Falcons winning the line of scrimmage. There's room to go 3 yards as soon as he gets the handoff.
Well, this Denver Bronco defensive line and linebackers excellent against the run. From behind the offense, the 12th play of this drive, they try to run a tight end trap. Riggs appears to run it a little too wide. Everyone, Townsend is there to make the tackle. Woodard there to make the tackle for a gain of about a yard. Third down now and 9.
John Scully, fifth-year lineman from Notre Dame, blew Carl Mecklenburg right off the play. The gain is just 2 yards, so it's third down and 8. Bartkowski against a rush, fires. He's got his man inside the 5 and down to the 3-yard line. Joe Washington has a first down for the Falcons. It'll be first down and goal.
Well, one of the mismatches we're seeing today is people like Billy White Shoes Johnson, Joe Washington on the Denver linebackers. 12 yards on the pickup. Good protection here. You see the linebacker trying to keep up. Woodard trying to keep up with Joe Washington. That's never going to be able. They're never going to be able to keep up with him. You see those guys when they know the pass is complete. Bartkowski from down there reading a putt knows that it's a complete pass.
There is a man down on the play, though, as Joe Washington has now caught 2 passes for the Falcons, good for 18 yards. Dan Henning, the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, is a master offensive strategist. He was the offensive coordinator at Miami, went from the Dolphins to the Washington Redskins, and was the man who Joe Gibbs had running his offense the year that they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Dan Reeves is a very close friend of Joe Gibbs, so these 3 teams have almost the same offense. I think that's Ken Woodard down on the ground. Doesn't appear to be too seriously hurt, we hope. But Reeves, Henning, and Joe Gibbs trade ideas. As a matter of fact, in speaking with a couple of the Denver Bronco players yesterday, apparently a lot of the things that the Washington Redskins have done and do in training camp have been adopted by Dan Reeves. The players of the Denver Broncos think that Danny Reeves has softened somewhat, realizes the potential of this ball club, wants to get it set up as best he possibly can to win as many games as they possibly can. And of course, last year with that 13-3 record, in my estimation, the Denver Broncos overachieved. That's not a criticism, that's certainly a compliment. But to everyone then who follows the Denver Broncos, if they don't duplicate that 13-3 record or better it, it's a bad year for the Denver Broncos.
Tell you win 10 games in that division, you've had a heck of a year.
You got that right. They won the toughest division in the NFL, the AFC West. I made the statement last night to Jim Sacamano, the PR director. It's conceivable that for the next 5 years, 3 of the 5 teams in the playoffs in the AFC might come from the AFC West.
Well, it's happened the last 3 years.
Yes, it has.
Now the Falcons looking to tie the game as they go first and goal from inside the Bronco 5. Riggs struck hard. Coming up to get him on the play was Mike Harden. There's a gain of maybe a yard on the play. So the Falcons get close, but they don't get in as we check the scoreboard again. The Cardinals and the Giants are now tied 10-10. Niall O'Donoghue kicked a field goal for St. Louis. San Diego has opened up a 17-7 lead over Cincinnati. Dan Fouts threw for another touchdown to tight end Eric Sievers. New England's now gone in front of Buffalo 10-7 on a Craig James, a halfback option pass to Tony Collins. Second down and goal now for Atlanta. Riggs again, penalty markers down, and so is Riggs short of the goal line as Steve Foley, the free safety, came up and submarined him. The yards come tough against a great Denver defense, particularly down close. Let's see what the penalty marker is. They think it's against the Broncos, and it is.
So they'll take the penalty because it gives them another down. Bernie Chavis, one of the old guys on this Denver Bronco defense, can still play football.
Darren Como, one of the linebackers in the goal line defense, lined up in the neutral zone. He was in the gap. So the nose of the ball is almost at the goal line.
Once again, the ball given to Gerald Riggs.
He's the only guy that's run it so far for the Falcons.
12 times.
28 yards and 12 carries.
That's about the way the Falcons play. Give it to him or throw it to somebody.
4:55 to go now. First half, Denver leads 14-7. Riggs looks for the end zone, and he finds it. Going in, standing up again off that powerful left side. So the underdog Falcons get saluted by their fans, and it hasn't happened often. As Gerald Riggs goes in, and now the Falcons in position to tie the game if they hit the extra point.
A very impressive drive started at their own 25-yard line. 15 plays. Riggs the last yard or two with good power running. This is good for the Atlanta Falcons. They seem to keep pace with everybody in the first half. In the second half, they go to sleep.
Gerald Riggs averaging well over 100 yards a game through the first 2 games this season. Here is the extra point. It is hit up and good by Mick Luckhurst. And so the Falcons tie the score at 14-14 with 4:50 to play in the first half. Back at Atlanta, the game is now tied 14-14. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Dan Reeves came into this game saying these guys are going to be awful tough. They're cornered. They've been tough, the Falcons, albeit an underdog.
Yeah, I thought one of the keys for the Atlanta Falcons today was simply ball possession. That last drive took better than 8 minutes, and that certainly helps anybody's cause.
They've got a good blocking offensive line, very strong on the run as the kickoff comes downfield. Vance Johnson takes off, and he can rip at the distance if they give him a channel. He get him out to the 34-yard line. So John Elway and the Bronco offense comes back out as we look at how it went today in that scoring drive just completed by the Atlanta Falcons. 8:06 off the clock.
75 yards, and with Riggs' touchdown, he now needs one more to tie William Andrews as the all-time leading scorer touchdown-wise for the Atlanta Falcons.
Henning, the Atlanta coach, said one way we can keep Elway in that passing game off the field is to run the ball. So they did it with gusto there and take it in. It's a 14-14 game with 4:40 to play in the first half. John Elway. He's down at the 22-yard line. This is the second sack by the Atlanta defensive Elway.
Well, last year, the Denver Broncos did an excellent job of protecting John Elway. And now, this is the 7th sack of the season given up by the Denver Bronco offensive line. They've got some real athletes on that Atlanta Falcon defensive line. You can't really, you can't keep those guys out all day long. That's their 9th sack so far this season.
Big Dan Benish, number 69, was the first guy to get through. So now Elway and the offense are set way back with a second down and about 20 coming up. Screen pass. Gene Lang has the ball, and he busted across the 30-yard line and out close to the 34. Got back the lost yardage on the sack and 2 more at the 3rd down and 8.
That was well conceived and well run. The 2 linemen got blocks right at the point where the receiver had the ball, was able to bust it up through there. That's a nice call by Dan Reeves on the sideline.
One thing you can see here, Trump, as you see Elway evolve as a quarterback, is also the evolution of the Denver offense. It's become more and more complex as Elway's got more and more into it in 3 years.
True. The one thing you see from last year to this year is just simply how much he looks all the way around the field.
Sees the whole field, as Butch Johnson said last week. He looks at everybody, throws to everybody, and that gets us all open. Elway,
he can run.
Yep, there he goes again. A linebacker's drawing a beat on him, but can't get to him as again Elway runs out of trouble, and in so doing runs for a first down.
Al Richardson on the tackle. You can see that defense of the Atlanta Falcons deploy, and it appears to be a total zone coverage. Yes, a total zone coverage. 3, 6, 7 guys back there, and those linebackers are dropping almost 20 yards deep. So John Elway this time tucks it under and runs for the first down. I think that's the 3rd time today he's run for a first down.
It is. Good second look. Our producer today for NBC Sports is Peter Rolfe. Our director, Richard Klein, as we have 3:18 to play in the first half. The game is tied 14-14. The Broncos favored. Go to the run. Gene Lang with that counter play comes out across his 45-yard line. And again, the Atlanta defense giving ground grudgingly. Buddy Curry, a very fast but small middle linebacker from North Carolina, was in on the tackle. Sammy Winder is at. Check that number and see who's down for the Denver Broncos. Looks like Sammy's down.
I think he was the ball carrier too, Don. I thought it was Gene Lang too. 23 and 33, hard to distinguish there. And you can see him get up in there. He's ridden to the ground. We'll find out what's wrong with Sammy.
Break in the action as Sammy Winder of the Broncos is attended to. We'll be back after this.